Hello and welcome back to Tommy's Top Picks Weekly Roundup podcast, episode 139. I'm your host, Tommy, joined by John.
How's it going?
I am alive. I made it through my big work thing all week. I was in New Orleans on Tuesday for the hurricane, and then we had an event. It was fun, and it went really well, so I'm happy about it.
And you survived the hurricane.
Survived the hurricane. Basically,
I was to them down here.
Yeah, I was talking to everyone. Was like, "Oh, it's only a 1 or 2."
Yeah, they're like, whatever.
The hotel I was staying at didn't even lose power during Katrina, so like I wasn't concerned.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And then, so I was up all night watching the news as it came in, and then it was like, and that's it. It's out of NOLA. We're in the clear, and I was like, that's it. That was a heavy rainstorm. No big deal.
Yep, that's how it goes.
But yeah, it was a great event. Had a ton of fun. Slept very little. And so when I got back on Sunday, I could not podcast mentally prepare myself to podcast or speak in sentences. But today I can. So here we are to catch me up on what I missed last week.
Yeah.
So I didn't play
any games. Yeah, I was going to say.
Although this morning I did knock out my arena dailies, which was fun. So I guess I played a little bit.
I think you played more than me. I did not. I did not get anything game-wise done. I did do one thing that was fun. That totally is a sidetrack conversation point, but I don't know if you know. Actually, I think you do because I told you. ChatGPT released a new model.
Yeah.
So I sat down and played with that thing. Yeah, it's in preview mode, so you have to like select it intentionally.
Okay.
It won't default to it, and it's called O1. I think it's like O is in the letter O, not 0. And it is freaking amazing. So over about the past 48 hours, a little bit less actually, with the help of this smart, like they're saying it's PhD level. I disagree with that, but it's smart. The smart ChatGPT or reasoning ChatGPT will say, I was able to from scratch build a video game, and it is fully functioning and has a ton of features. What do you mean? What language?
Unity or?
No, I just did Python with Pygame. It's just a basic library for Python to do game stuff. Very basic, like draw on screen, create a window, asset import, stuff like that. But yeah, with this thing, it helped me lay out the structure, think through all these things. And then it's really like working with something really intelligent. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but it's just so amazing. I wanted to bring it up for anyone that's a listener. It is well worth checking out this O1 version. I think you have to be subscribed, but I'm not 100% sure you do. You might be able to get to it without it, which is like $20 a month right now. But it is brilliant. And I was able to build a whole space colonization sim around the moons of Jupiter using semi-realistic concepts of like resource abuse and use out there and what it would be like, and put it all together. Engine built the whole thing, clickable UI, keyboard inputs, everything. And it's just a matter of like, I want this feature. Okay, how do we do this? I want to change this. It doesn't work the way I want it. Things like that. And it does it. It's incredible to work with. So I am super hyped on this stuff. And I think it's going to change a lot of people's workflow. And I think like you sent, right, you're not going to be replaced. You're going to be enhanced by AI. So learn it sooner rather than later, because you don't want to be the people that don't know it when your competitors do know it. So well worth the time, in my opinion. So anyway, sorry to sidetrack on that, but it has literally consumed all of my free time for 48 hours. I didn't care about gaming. I didn't care about anything. I was like, I need to play with this. And it is a ton of fun. And now I have a game I built on my own very quickly, with minimal inputs, minimal like effort, just director style, like I'd like this. I want that. How do we do this? Well, I ran into this bug. What does that mean? And it has answers. It actually can figure it out and solve it. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
So good. Anyways, but other than that, no gaming other than Outlaws, Star Wars Outlaws. That was fun.
Nice.
Played that some more. Still good.
Yeah, there was one of the panels at the conference that I was working this weekend was about how to use, part of it was mainly about how to use AI and come up with a content plan for mortgage brokers. And on the screen, he had in big, bold font, "You will not be replaced by AI and tech. You will be replaced by someone who uses AI and tech."
Yep. It's 100% correct.
Little call out, if you have a job that most likely could benefit from AI at all, just go do it.
Check it out. Learn about it, figure it out, get some basic knowledge on it. A little bit of knowledge will take you very far, and it will put you ahead of anyone that's competing for your type of position. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. But this is not an AI podcast, but it is worth, the value of that is just worth saying.
Yeah, totally. I did try to play Tabletop Simulator on Friday to do Commander, and could not get it to work. They did some update or something, and there's this P2P error that's popping up. I Googled it, and a ton of people are having this error right now. So I don't know if it's their servers or what is happening, because P2P shouldn't use servers, but maybe they route through some internal server and it was busted, or maybe they released a patch that caused an issue. Apparently it's been going on for about a week, so if anyone knows how to fix it, let me know. I haven't figured it out yet.
Cool. Well, what happened? What did I miss? Did anything happen? Was there a week?
There was a week. That did happen. And there was a sale on TCG Player. I think that was Friday or so. And I, in preparation, you know how they always give you warning if you're shop. So I took the shop down. I put all of the boxes I could up that were like reasonable to sell, good price range and stuff, price to move, not low price, but lower price, like down in the range that if volume's moving, it will hit my price. And turned it on for Friday, and it was the slowest sale for me since I've been doing the shop.
Interesting. And that's after putting new stuff up.
Yeah.
And it's not the summer doldrums anymore. It's not summer.
It is not. So it's making me think that maybe we are starting to see some of those macroeconomic trends come into play. People not feeling comfortable spending $200 on a box of cardboard.
I'm one of those people.
I was going to say, I could see
I've backed off.
Yeah, exactly.
If I've backed off, I run a podcast about doing this stuff.
Exactly. So I think I don't know if there's like actual economic strain yet, but there's economic worry enough where these like luxury items are getting a second thought before
it's the first to go.
Exactly. So I do think that's something worth noting, because like I said, I've run these sales every time they've had a sale since I've been running the shop, and it's never been this low. I did still sell some stuff. I think it was like somewhere between 6 and 10, items. So like a single box or a case, whatever, depending on what it was. A lot of Flesh and Blood did sell. I was pricing that very aggressively though, because I wanted to get those off the shelf. And then a handful of Magic things and some Pokemon, those little bundles sold. But not a lot. Like the Pokemon bundle thing was the one that acted like normal, right? Like there was people below me and they all sold out, and then it hit me and I sold a little bit above the low, which is where I wanted to sell it. Typical. I've had that one listed the whole time for months, and this is what happens every time. Usually Pokemon worked like normal. Every other thing, Magic, etc., did not work like normal. And then Flesh and Blood, like I aggressively priced it to get out of a bunch of stuff that I don't need anymore. I don't want too much stuff sitting around. But still trying to sell off the inventory of things. I don't want to like lose money and cut myself in half over it, but I am trying to move stuff, and some of it's moving, some of it is not.
Pokemon's goat.
Yeah, it definitely worked. Yep, surprising. I also looked to see if there was anything I wanted to buy, and did not find anything I was motivated to pull the trigger on. So
yeah, I think my big thing right now is what I'm interested is draft boxes for Magic, and I have all the draft boxes I want.
Yeah, you have more than enough to go through for a while.
And it's not really like, yes, I will sell them if they go up crazy, but I think the speed at which I am able to draft the boxes, I have enough to last me until retirement probably. So yeah, I don't think I need to.
Yeah.
And it's more so like, ooh, that will be fun. Like Duskmorn, I plan on picking up a couple of boxes, but not at release.
Yeah. No, you wait for the Doldrum, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the move.
Yeah. I wait for it to be like 2 years old.
I will tell you, I'm at this weird crossroads for myself because,
Mm-hmm.
I typically like to pick up 2 collector boxes, put them on the shelf, etc.
Yeah.
I'm actually moving to start the sale of some collector boxes because some of them have started to appreciate at points where it's like, okay, this is way past what I'm looking for. I
Right.
typically want like a 50% return over the value. So 150% basically of the price is like kind of my minimum. And then I do it very lazily, one, because I don't want to focus on this every day. And two, because the lazier you are, the more money you make. If
Yeah.
it takes a long time, then you end up making more money. So, anyways, that's been my goal. And, but I was still buying every set despite the performance of recent sets, Bloomburrow being a good example, Wilds of Eldraine being a good example.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finding myself less interested in picking up new collector boxes. I'm like leaning towards like just buy a box to open it, and for the cards, and just maybe that'll be my only purchase for sets that I find interesting.
And then you buy singles.
Yeah, and then just buy singles, because with Commander, one, I have so many decks now, so that's cool. I'm kind of reaching that saturation point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to I don't have this drive to like discover new things or whatever, right? Like I'm still building stuff and whatnot, but I have a lot of decks that I like, and I want to play them to proficiency, which I have not done that yet. So I'm less inclined to build yet another deck to try to figure it out, right? I do like the puzzle, but now I want to go back and like get really comfortable with some of the ones I've built, because some of them I built, solved the puzzle of how they should work, and then moved on without ever actually really playing them, much less mastering them. And some of them, because I kind of upped my skill over this period, are so complex. I need reps. Like I need reps on them to really understand how to play them very well. And I have not done that at all, which was always the goal, like build up a library and then have different things I can cycle into and obsess over and switch it up if it's too powerful or too weak against who I'm playing. You know what I mean? Things like that. But now I feel like I have a chunk of decks that I feel comfortable with. And so I'm doing that. Oh, also been using, and this has been useful. It's called deckcheck.com. Let me double check. Hold on. Yeah, .co. It is a AI driven way to get a power level. So you know how every deck is a 7? Yeah, it's a AI driven way to get a power level for your commander deck, and then everyone can use that in your pod. We're using it in our pod to value where they are so that you can have good matchups. It does seem to work pretty well for that. Now, its heuristic model is specific. So things like combos get you into the 8 range and things like that, right? Like super infinite combos and stuff like that. Speed of the mana base is considered, things like that, right? So but it's a very good way if you have someone that's beating you, and this is what was happening. We had this one guy that's just dominating, and we're like, do you just make powerful decks? Our assumption was he just made really powerful decks, but we ran it through this, and it turns out his decks were in the same power range as a lot of ours. He's just a very good, efficient player, which is kind of the conclusion we drew as a group, which takes some heat off of him, because it's not like make crappier decks or make decks that aren't, cheating is too powerful. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't. He was playing within range. He's just very good. And so to his credit, like he put up with us griping about this, that, and the other. And turns out we were wrong. He was right. He's playing well within our range, and we just need to get good. So good for him for sticking it out, and an interesting tool, definitely worth it. I think you could check 2 decks a day for free. You can pay for it and get infinite number if you want to. But yeah, we basically valued out all of our decks in the pod, and it was, probably between all of us is probably like 40 to 60 decks.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone took it and put it in the description of their Architect or Mox, whatever, so that it had the full write up, because it tells you like the weaknesses, the strengths, blah, blah. And it also gives it a numeric rating, and you can save the link. The link gets stored so you can go back to it anytime. So basically, whenever we match up, we can say, okay, let's do 6s, let's do 7s, let's push it up, let's go 8s, and burn your power deck out. And so that we're much closer matched on like how fast the deck should work. And it does it based on an expected turn kill time.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So it's like, yeah, it can dominate the table by turn 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or what, that sort of thing. So it's very good to have an objective third party defined, metric to build off
that
of. So
honestly is one of my biggest gripes with Commander.
What, is that you don't know what you're up against?
Well, sure. No. Well, yes, one, you don't know what you're up against, but two, the people that will downplay their power.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, my deck's not that powerful. My deck's not. Hey, my deck is a 6. And then it has all these infinite combos and stuff. And you're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I think it gets rid of some of the salt there, because some of the salt, some of the salt is valid, but I would say a good chunk of it actually probably isn't. It's like, it's not actually a powerful deck. It's just,
I mean, salt is what drove me away from from Commander for sure.
So it's cool. And I discovered my Dina deck, which was specifically built to build a really mean, nasty deck after Counterspell was complained about. I was told, don't play Counterspells. And I was like, well, fine.
You can't play Counterspells.
Yeah, so I decided to build the nastiest deck I could in a different color combination without blue. And so I went with Dina because I love Dina. And I built out a blinged out version with like serialized Dina and a bunch of serialized stuff in there. Yeah.
How many serialized cards do you have now?
Oh God, I don't know.
Oh jeez. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like a stupid amount, but it's probably more than 5, but probably less than a dozen, somewhere in that range. Yeah. But I honestly don't know, because I just buy them if it was cheap and it's something I was building. Like I buy it to bling out my deck. I lied. I have one that I bought because I wanted it as a serialized card, and that's Bird of Paradise. I bought that one and that was expensive, and it's already gone up more than 50%, but I'm holding on to it because I like it. But anyways, so my nasty deck, when I ran it through this thing, it has 40 combos in it. 40 infinite combos. And they're similar. Like you can use this piece for that part of the combo or that piece for that. You know what I mean? Like it's replaceable, swappable. And I built it that way on purpose. And I built that one from scratch. And it is, I think, the most powerful amongst all of our decks that we reviewed. So I feel good about that. I was like, that was the goal. I was like, I'm going to build the nastiest thing I can myself. Like, I'm not net decking this. And so I went and did the research to learn about all the different combos I could do in black green, how they would work. I decided which ones were best fitted and suited together. I tried to memorize as many as I can. I'm terrible at that part. This is one of those examples of like, I need reps to get good at this deck, but this deck is disgusting. By turn 3, it can dominate or win the game pretty consistently, like more than 50% of the time.
Dang.
Yeah, according to this thing. So
nice.
Anyways, yeah, it was fun. I felt good about that because I was like, yes, not only did I achieve my goal, but I was correct in my assessment of how nasty this thing was. And the funny part is, like, the whole point of that was to get vengeance for not being allowed to do Counterspell by building a completely toxic deck. That was the idea. I played it once in person. I deck tested that so much that by the time I had it all together, I was like, I'm so tired of this deck. So it's one I'll go back to someday. Yeah. Anyways.
Nice.
One last bit for the 80% thing.
Mm-hmm.
I did, in fact, sell a Lord of the Rings collector box at $850 or so, somewhere between $850 and $870, somewhere like that. And actually, I think it was more like 70. I think it's 50 after fees or something like that. Like, take home was 850, something like that. Anyways, bunch of them sold, by the way, over the course of the sale. So I got, it wasn't $1,000 a box, but I don't care. It's only $850 now. Once. Yeah, I was going to say it was a good price. I wanted to put it on, and it worked, and it sold. And I went back to double check. I was like, how much did I make on this? Because I wonder what I paid for that. I got it on a Rudy sale where you bought 2 of them and you got them for, I believe it was $289 or less. And so I got 2 of them at $289, sold it at $8, whatever. So that's almost 3x, not quite 3x. Actually, is that? No, yeah, that's over 3x, right? Or just shy of it if it isn't. Anyways, whatever. 3x, 2x, 2 plus x, we'll say. So as a result, I think we're going to have to go ahead and open the other one. Because I don't need to save it. I made my money back, plus paid for the other box, plus some profit. I feel like that's a win. I really did want to open that box. Like I was really struggling not to open it. And so now I have the excuse to open it. And I don't feel bad. I won't feel like I burned, like I was saying, $650. Like I didn't burn it. I made my money plus some back. Like it's fine. Now, granted, I can make more money, but I can always make more money.
Well, sure, with other ways that aren't as fun.
Yeah, I was going to say this is the fun of it, right? This is the whole point.
Right.
I wanted to sell cards so that I could have fun and not feel bad about doing things like this.
Yeah.
Because without this excuse, I would feel terrible about opening this. But so, anyways, I think we will have to do that very soon.
And the original collector is up to 600.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're doing very well. So
surprise.
Yeah, well, and that's the point where like I'm watching the collector boxes. I'm like, okay, these things are moving correctly. Like within the next year, I'm gonna be able to sell a good chunk of them because I have every single one. Yeah. I have 2 of every single box, except for like Assassin's Creed and Doctor Who.
I have an Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I think I have 2 of almost every single one. Some of the older ones, I think I only have 1 of. But point being that like it's now we've gone the 3-year cycle. It's time to start selling and exiting some of this stuff out. So cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. You brought up an interesting Marlowe post.
What? Oh, Morrow
post.
Yeah, Morrow. Yeah. Mark Rosewater said, I personally. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I personally thought the amount of legends was notably lower, especially compared to sets like OTJ, and I'm fine with it. Especially on a horror plane, it would be kind of weird to have so many specific people alive there. We are consciously trying to lower legendary creatures in Premier sets. So those are referencing standard sets. So Premier would be standard, and I am for it.
Premier would be standard? What?
It says so. We are consciously... the 2 sets they reference are standard sets in the post.
Oh, Premier is standard.
Mm-hmm.
That's so confusing. I thought Premier was the non-standard.
That's what we talked about at the beginning, but after reading it out loud, I was like, they only reference standard sets. So why would they bring up other sets?
Why do they call it Premier? That's so confusing. Anyways, yeah, that's fine. I don't know if I like that. That means more Commander is going to lean towards like IP driven stuff.
I
don't know if I like that.
And MH and like modern stuff and Commander stuff.
Yeah, the modern product should definitely have a lot of Commander decks.
Especially collector ones.
Yeah, right.
Magic.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm here for this because John and I have been having some discussion on the podcast, some off the podcast, about how just some cards in standard sets are just obviously Commander. And so when you are drafting and you open them, you're just like, well, there goes my rare slot. Yeah. It's just not worth taking. Like a common is better.
Yeah.
So that gives me hope, and that they are looking at that, and that I think would have a big impact on limited formats moving forward if there were less of them, because they do tend to be multicolored because Commander.
Yeah. Well, that's something we also discussed, was just the general concept around limited and moving cards away or towards Commander. So I think we're at a point where they are trying to make limited series, so it might not happen. Like there won't be as many Commander product or cards, I guess, in the limited.
Which is fine because there are plenty of Commander sets, modern sets, all the others.
Boo! Well, I'll be opening less. Not that I'm opening that much anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that's exciting. I am really looking for. I have stopped drafting Bloomburrow, and I'm in the gold accumulation phase on Arena, getting ready for Duskmourn. Because it's right around the corner. We're like, what, 2 weeks away?
Yeah, it's not, yeah, it's very close.
A week away from pre-release?
Yeah, we should. Yeah, because all the spoilers, or most of the spoilers, are out now. If not all of them.
Because the full release is the 27th. Yeah, no, this Friday's pre-release.
That sounds right. Yeah, I knew it was like within the next 2 to 3 weeks, so that sounds correct.
So that's exciting.
It is. I am totally gonna miss this set. I'm just traveling. Speaking of traveling, if you are a steadfast listener, which listening on a Monday means you probably are, I will not be here next week. So doing the podcast is very unlikely. We might have some pre-recorded something or another. I don't know what you want to do. Tommy, if you have thoughts.
Yeah, we'll find something. Okay, here's something. If you are a steadfast listener, that means you're listening to this on Monday, and you also will have made it this far in the podcast. So leave a comment down below. Ask a question, put a topic, something you'd like us to talk about, and we will add that to the list of the things that we talk about.
There you go.
But if you do leave a comment and it is not on Monday and it is later, and we do not reference it, that may be because we recorded it before you posted that.
Yeah, we'll make something work. We'll figure it out. Yeah. But yeah, just our schedules are crazy, so the next couple of weeks will be a challenge. This upcoming Sunday, I'm definitely not around. The following Sunday, I will be jet lagged, but we can do it.
That's what I said about this Sunday.
Yeah, I was about to say, we'll see how well that goes. And then a couple of weeks after that, I'm off to Ireland for like 2 weeks. So we will definitely miss 2 in that period. So I think that's mid-October. So I don't know how you want to address that. If you can find someone to chat with instead of me, or however, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. We'll find something.
Just so you all know.
Yep. But cool. Trying to think if there is anything else to talk about.
Yeah. Waiting for the next set. Sorcery is still exciting. Flesh and Blood had their big release thing happen. Sounds like people are very hyped about that.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, our local store is doing what they consider their last event.
Yep.
I did not know that, but I haven't gone to that store for Flesh and Blood in a million years, so I wouldn't really necessarily know it. But yeah, seems like our local community, a bunch of people moved, so I think it just kind of all fell apart, sadly.
There's also multiple stores running it now.
Yeah.
So it's not like our community doesn't have a place to play.
No, it's just that day that where we started is now gone. So it's a nostalgic sadness, but not a market indicator, because I think there's now 2 or 3 stores. So they went from no competition to a lot of competition.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They were within the last like 6 months or 8 months or something like that.
Yeah, because they were the only place that you could play Fab in the city.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah. So. Yep. And I think most of the people, it's easier to go on to the other shops because they're all the way on the west side of the city.
Yeah.
So. That's how it goes.
Makes sense.
Other games, other things. Pokemon.
We got Stellar Crown. Stellar Crown's out. Hovering around 110 on TCG Player.
Sorcery release is coming out shortly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about that. My boxes will show up. I guess I'll open those on stream or on channel or whatever. I don't mind doing that.
That'd be fun.
That'll be fine. Yeah, I have no idea. Like, they didn't release that many. And so it's going to be kind of boring content, I'll tell you, because I'm going to be reading the cards most of the time. Because they only release so many. So I'm like, every card is going to be a new card. And we're like, oh, what is this?
Well, okay. I'll hop on with you. We'll make it
a common. Yeah.
We'll make it a conversation so that it's a little more entertaining. But yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like 87 is the Rosetta right now. 88.
That's a standard release price. Yeah. Nothing surprising there. Star Wars. Just seeing with Star Wars is coming out.
Yeah. In November.
Okay, we got some time on that one then.
Yeah, we got some time. They have been pushing a lot of spoilers a lot earlier this time, which is nice.
Nice.
We're getting a bunch of stuff. I am patiently watching as they come out with all the clone stuff, because it's definitely like a create a bunch of clones, take over the board kind of thing. Yeah. And that is very much my style. So that will be the deck I'm building for sure.
Nice. Yeah, it looks like they've moved up in ranking on TCG Player as well. They used to be in the all other games. Now they're in the popular games section, which is not like a crazy big achievement, but it does mean something. Like it changes the exposure for the card game, in the general public. So
yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to find.
Will it be a clean release by November?
What do you mean?
I think November will be a great boxes and stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
100% on that. 50%,
25%. Yes. 80%.
Okay. Got to leave room for just in case.
Of course. Well, the 20% just in case is because it is Clone Wars. And for years, we're old, John. Clone Wars was cool. Clone Wars wasn't cool. Clone Wars was cool. Clone Wars wasn't cool. Clone Wars is cool again. Because Gen Z is growing up now and being a little bit older. And that was their Star Wars, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
And they have a soft spot for it. They were the right age when the Clone Wars kids TV shows were coming out. And they were watching that all the time. I skipped it until I was much older. So this set is going to really speak to them and going to have a lot of characters that they like.
So you think there'll be a higher demand for this set and the supply will be fine is kind of the theory, but the demand may be unexpectedly high and therefore could cause issues?
I don't think there is a set that will have the demand that set 1 did.
No.
That caused the issues.
No, the hype is always the first set.
Yeah. But yeah, the leader that I'm looking at is Padme, who's a green-white, just like Leia, and has the coordinate, which is you can only you gain the ability. You don't have the ability by default. You have to have 3 units or more to activate it. But it's an action that costs 1. Search the top 3 cards of your deck for a Republic card, reveal it, and draw it. So you just build a deck around. So it's basically Leia, but instead of it's like Leia because it's a tribal, and I really like tribal decks. And this is, instead of Rebels, it's Republic. So you just get a bunch of Jedis and clone troopers and go to town. Now, what color I pair it with, I don't know. I may do blue, so it'd be green, white, blue. But then when you deploy her, she comes out on 5, which is good. There's a lot of these that are coming out on like 6 or 7, and that's just not my speed. But she's a 2/7 with Restore 1, so when she attacks, she heals 1 from your base. And then, again, coordinate if you have 3 units. On attack, search and draw a card, a Republic card. So search the top 3 cards of your deck for a Republic card, which when all of your cards are Republic, you can just pick which one you want. Or have very few non-Republic, but then the likelihood that all 3 cards that you look at are not Republic is very low.
Yeah.
So just having card draw in this game is in all card games is very good. But this one, card draw is pretty dang good in this game.
It's incredibly important in relatively limited currently, right?
Yes. Yeah.
There's just not a lot of ways to cheat in cards yet.
Correct.
It's setting it up. Like you can see it building, but it's, they are wise in not overdoing it too early because you don't want to break the game with too much card draw.
Correct. So basically, I think the way I'm going to attack this third set is I may, depending on what it looks like, I may just buy the showcase for Padme and then decide what color has the best Jedi and Republic stuff that's not green, and then just pair that, get those cards, build that deck, and then brew it for the whole season.
Nice.
Because I don't know, I had so much fun with set 1 and Leia, and set 2 has been in the middle of my crazy work stuff, so I haven't gotten to play that much. But the Kylo that I've been playing is a ton of fun, but it's win or lose by turn 3, so They're very short games.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that stuff, but I understand there's a value to it in the best of 3 mode and all that stuff. It's like I almost feel like it's more effort to shuffle than to play the game.
Yeah, basically.
It's no fun.
But whereas Padme, it's just my board is going to get real big, so do something about it. Which there are definitely cards to do about it. But
that's cool.
Yeah, neat stuff. I'm excited. Let's see if there's any other cards that stand out that may be a part of that. Oh yeah, like the Knight of the Republic as a 4/7. When this unit is attacked, create a clone trooper. So there's a lot of like when it attacks, when it is attacked. Oh, and did I tell you about the hello? Oh, we talked about that already. The hello there card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you mentioned that last week, I think.
Yeah.
Hello there.
Yeah, just a bunch of. Oh, and Eye of the High Ground. Choose a friendly unit. Each enemy unit gets -4 attack while attacking that unit this phase. So get your Sentinel out, play that, and then everything has to attack into your Sentinel with -4 attack for 1.
Yeah.
Basically meaning you're not attacking this turn, which then you probably lose priority, but you're able to do a lot. And then there's maybe I lean double green, because then manufactured soldiers, choose 1, create 2 clone troopers for 3. But I don't know. There's a bunch of really cool stuff. I'm very excited. I need to check in with the store.
I was going to say, you need to get back to it. It's been some time, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to go this week because I'm still recovering. But next week I do plan on going. And last I left the store, they were talking about switching back and forth between draft and constructed. So I'm hoping that it seemed like the majority of people were wanting to switch between the two. So.
Yeah, I mean, draft, now that it's possible, is a big deal. Oh, speaking of card games that didn't have access to product but now do. I don't know why this happened or how this happened because I don't follow close enough. But apparently Sorcery showed up at the one shop in our area that was selling it from retail.
Yeah.
Again. And they reached out and they're like, hey, if you want some, it's available. I'm like, well, I don't need any because I have 2 on my shelf. But maybe they bought it from a secondhand seller or something. But the fact that it was in a store, I was like, what? That hasn't happened at all. Like even in the beginning, it didn't. That wasn't a thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know if they did another. I know they mentioned another way, but I thought it was all international. I didn't think it was actually going to be in the U.S. But apparently, some of it made it to the U.S. or this person just bought a secondhand market and put it on the shelf or whatever for the shop. So
nice,
pretty fun. I don't know if that's going to make a difference because it's really not an in-store game. It's just not. It's a tabletop game or a kitchen table game.
Nice, yeah,
it's fine.
Sweet.
Yep. I don't know. I got nothing else.
Cool. Yeah, that does it for me. So until next week when we talk about other things, we'll talk to you later.
Have a good one.